The film kicks off with a visit to a Florida prison in 2003. Fitzroy, a man who seems way too comfortable offering shady deals, tells an inmate that his colorful criminal past, which includes murder, makes him ideal for the CIA's Sierra program. You know, the usual pitch: work for us or stay in prison forever.
Well, I'm just going to cut to the chase. My name is Donald Fitzroy, and I'm here to commute your sentence. When I get up out of this chair and walk out of this prison, you walk with me.
Fast forward 18 years to Bangkok, where the now CIA assassin, known as Sierra 6, is on a mission. His partner, Agent Miranda, hands him a toy gun, which 6 swaps for a real one. 6 is connected to a group of CIA agents through an earpiece, including the head honcho, Carmichael, who orders him to take out a national security threat. Just as 6 gets ready to pull the trigger, a kid strolls up to the target. Great timing, right? 6 hesitates, despite Carmichael's demand to shoot. Instead of following orders, 6 decides to kick off a wild shootout with the bodyguards. Miranda jumps in to lend a hand. The target manages to escape by jumping through a window, of course, and 6 is right behind him. They end up in the middle of a fireworks show. As if things couldn't get weirder, the target claims he's Sierra 4, but 6 isn't buying it.
They didn't tell you who I am, did they?
They never do.
I'm Sierra 4.
After a heated brawl, 6 takes matters into his own hands, literally, and stabs Sierra 4. After some back and forth, Sierra 4 manages to convince 6 that Carmichael is corrupt and hands him a necklace before succumbing to his injuries. Miranda shows up, and 6 fills her in on what just happened. She tells him that 4 had access to classified info about the Sierra program. Meanwhile, Carmichael's men search for the item 4 had, but come up empty-handed. Carmichael contacts 6, trying to get details about the item, but 6 brushes him off and hangs up. Later, 6 joins a gaming event and discreetly pulls out a memory stick hidden in the necklace. After checking the contents, he calls Fitzroy, who's now retired. 6 mentions his suspicions about Carmichael's corruption and asks Fitzroy if Sierra 4 had a scar on his right chin. When Fitzroy confirms, 6 reveals that he was ordered to kill 4, who had given him an encrypted drive. Fitzroy says he'll reach out to his old contacts in the agency and suggests meeting at an airfield outside Bangkok for extraction. Meanwhile, another agent, Suzanne, meets with Carmichael in a CIA restroom. He tells her that they're bringing in Lloyd to handle things. Suzanne objects, pointing out Lloyd's brutal methods, but Carmichael dismisses her concerns. We then see Lloyd torturing someone when Carmichael calls to assign him the job: track down and kill 6, who now has intel that could ruin them both. Lloyd asks about the connection between 6 and Fitzroy, and Carmichael tells him that they're as close as father and son. Lloyd suggests kidnapping someone close to Fitzroy. The next day, 6 arrives at the airfield where a group is waiting to extract him. Meanwhile, Lloyd confronts Fitzroy at a funeral, threatening him with a photo of his niece and demanding 6's location. Shortly after, the extraction team at the airfield receives a call from Fitzroy, ordering them to eliminate 6. Prepared for the betrayal, 6 fights off the team, taking on 4 attackers at once. During the scuffle, a hole is punctured in the plane, ripping off an entire side and leading to the plane breaking apart mid-flight. 6 is free-falling through the sky when he spots a guy with a parachute nearby. Not wasting any time, he grabs hold of the guy, choking him out, and uses the opportunity to catch a ride as the parachute deploys. After landing, 6 immediately contacts Fitzroy, furious about the betrayal. Fitzroy admits they have his niece, Claire, leaving 6 fuming. Later, Lloyd tells Fitzroy he's going to put 6 on every covert hit list possible, ensuring the best assassins in the world come after him. Cut to 6, who's taking a quick nap on a train, flashing back to 2 years earlier. Fitzroy and Margaret, a CIA center chief, inform 6 about Claire. Fitzroy's been taking care of her, but someone leaked his address, putting Claire at risk. They've requested agency protection, but for some reason, Carmichael refuses to provide it. Since Fitzroy is on a mission, they need 6 to keep an eye on her. Fitzroy mentions Claire was born with a heart condition and has a pacemaker now, requiring regular hospital visits. 6 meets Claire, and she immediately comments on how strange his name is.
6 is an odd name.
Yeah,
Yeah, just 007 was taken.
That evening, Six is on guard when Claire suddenly calls his name, saying something's wrong, and collapses. He rushes her to the hospital. There, the doctors explain it was just a glitch in her pacemaker and she should be okay. They confirm the pacemaker's tracker is working perfectly, and Claire gives Six a little wave as he watches over her. The next day, Six checks in on Claire, asking if she's feeling better. She casually responds,
"Just another Thursday."
She mentions Fitzroy is the closest thing she has to family, and Six admits that he feels the same about Fitzroy. Suddenly, Six notices the security cameras go offline. He tells Claire to head to bed while she turns up the music in her room. As the music blasts, Six prowls through the building, his senses on high alert. Moments later, he's attacked by an armed man, and a fierce fight erupts while the music plays in the background. Claire overhears the sounds of fighting and calls out to Six, worried. She spots a body on the floor and nervously asks if he's okay. Six, ever calm, replies, "It's just another Thursday," wishing her a good night. Relieved, she heads back to her room. Back in the present, Six arrives in Vienna. He picks up a bag stashed with money and guns, making his next move. He meets with a man who offers him a huge sum of cash, but Six has something else in mind. He asks for a passport and the serial number of Claire Fitzroy's pacemaker. The man tells him to freshen up while he handles it. Six writes the pacemaker's serial number on his hand. He then stands in front of a camera, expecting a photo, but instead, the man pulls a lever, opening a trapdoor beneath him. Six falls through, instinctively firing his gun, but the glass above him is bulletproof. Meanwhile, in Berlin, Carmichael interrogates Miranda, grilling her on whether she thinks Six is working on something other than the mission. Miranda, clearly annoyed, insists she has no reason to suspect him since they barely know each other. Carmichael ups the pressure, warning her that if she's involved in anything shady, her career is over. Miranda stands her ground, coolly telling him to back off and get out of her space. Back with Six, he's not one to sit idle. He's busying himself, gathering tools and working on something crafty. He cuts through an old pipe, removes gunpowder from bullets, and rigs up a makeshift device by attaching his pistol to the pipe. Elsewhere, Carmichael gets word that Six has been captured. He wastes no time rubbing it in Miranda's face, gleefully informing her that she's now suspended from field duty. But Miranda catches a reflection of the message on Carmichael's glasses, giving her an idea. The moment he leaves, she grabs a car and heads out. Six, not surprisingly, had damaged another pipe during his crafty setup, causing the compartment he's trapped in to flood with water. Things escalate when Lloyd shows up, crashing through the door, and without a second thought, he shoots the man who betrayed Six. But Six isn't done yet. He plants his makeshift device on the trapdoor as the water level rises. Then, in the nick of time, he activates the trap. Six quickly gets back on his feet and launches an attack on the men in the room. As he takes down the last guy, Lloyd bursts in, spraying pepper spray right in Six's face. After trading a few quick, sarcastic comments, Six drops a grenade, forcing both of them to run in opposite directions. Despite being injured, Six tries to escape, but Lloyd catches up to him again. Just as things look bleak, a tranquilizer dart hits Lloyd, and out of nowhere, Miranda shows up. She points a gun at Six, telling him to get into her car, but when he refuses to climb into the trunk, she knocks him out with a tranquilizer too. Later, in Croatia, Lloyd arrives by helicopter with Fitzroy in tow. Suzanne is there, visibly upset, and reminds him that kidnapping CIA agents and their families is a no-go. Lloyd, being Lloyd, insists he'll do whatever it takes to finish the job. Inside, Fitzroy is reunited with Claire, and she rushes to hug him. Meanwhile, Six wakes up in Miranda's car. She's furious, accusing him of getting her in deep trouble because Carmichael now thinks she's working with him. Six warns her that both of them are likely targets, and when she asks why, he reveals that Sierra 4 had given him an encrypted drive. He sent it to Margaret, who lives in Prague. Hearing this, Miranda immediately heads to Margaret's place. Back in Croatia, Lloyd's IT team finds footage of Six sending a package from Bangkok to Prague. Lloyd interrogates Fitzroy, pressing him to reveal who might be in Prague, but Fitzroy refuses. Only after Lloyd threatens Claire does Fitzroy reluctantly give up the information. When Miranda and Six arrive at Margaret's place, she has already decrypted the drive. It exposes that Carmichael has been using the CIA to run his own personal hit squad authorizing illegal assassinations and bombings without caring about the consequences. Margaret hands Six the key to her bulletproof car, but before they can leave, bullets start tearing through the apartment walls. Six fumbles and drops the key, but Miranda snatches it up. Before they can react, a grenade crashes through the window and Miranda bolts. After the explosion, Margaret reveals a hidden escape route to Six, but chooses to stay behind, determined to slow down the attackers. As mercenaries flood the apartment, Margaret fills the place with gas and blows them up in a final stand. Outside, Six tries to escape but gets hit by a car and is arrested, handcuffed to a bench. Meanwhile, Lloyd orders his teams to shoot anyone in their way. Trucks roll in, and as chaos erupts, Six grabs a cop's gun and fires into the air to scatter the crowd. Lloyd's men attack, and Six hides behind the bench while cops fall under the hail of bullets. Shocked by the carnage, Suzanne watches as a full-scale war unfolds on the streets. In the middle of the firefight, Six spots a gun under the bench. He manages to grab it and takes out a mercenary. Frustrated that no one can land a hit on Six, Lloyd ups the bounty, offering $10 million to whoever takes him down. Six reloads, shoots at an oncoming van, frees himself from the cuffs, and takes off. Just then, Miranda shows up again. Six fends off attackers from all sides, both on the tram and in the pursuing cars. Amidst the wreckage, Six runs for cover, with Miranda reversing to pick him up. Together, they manage to escape the chaos. As they survey the aftermath, Lloyd tries to contact his surviving men, but only hears silence. Suzanne remarks that this is the biggest failure in asset retrieval history. Suddenly, Lone Wolf checks in, confirming he's tracking Six. Soon after, Six and Miranda reach a hospital. They trace Claire's pacemaker from a computer and prepare to move out. But before they can, Lone Wolf shows up. He injures Six's hand, and the two engage in a fierce fight. Six leaps out of the window, landing on the roof before making it to the ground. Lone Wolf is briefly stopped by the police, but quickly overpowers them and escapes. Meanwhile, Six and Miranda leave the hospital in a vehicle. Later, they sneak into a veterinary clinic, where Six tries to treat his stab wound, while Miranda questions him about his past. Unsure whether to continue helping him, she listens as Six reveals his history. His father had forced him and his brother to endure brutal methods to toughen them up. When his father began targeting his brother, Six knew that only one of them would survive. He chose to kill his father. Most people thought prison was the only place for him until Fitzroy stepped in. At Lloyd's estate, Lone Wolf arrives and delivers the encrypted drive to him. Outside, Six and Miranda trick the guards, take them down, and grab their weapons. Inside, Suzanne pleads with Lloyd, telling him he can't kill Claire. Lone Wolf overhears and questions Lloyd, asking if he's seriously planning to kill a young girl. Lloyd coldly warns him not to interfere. Suddenly, the power goes out. Miranda seizes the moment, taking down a helicopter and sneaking across the castle grounds, engaging in a firefight with the mercenaries. Inside, Fitzroy tells Claire to hide behind the bed. The tension rises as they hear footsteps approaching, but to their relief, it's Six. He hands Fitzroy a weapon, and when they hear people moving in the hallway, Six shoots through the wall, taking down 3 enemies with precise shots. Lloyd realizes that Miranda's chaos outside is a distraction to allow Six to rescue Fitzroy and Claire. But when Six reaches the area where they were held, they're already gone. Enraged, he finds only dead guards. Meanwhile, Suzanne watches in shock as Miranda launches a rocket-propelled grenade from outside. Six and the others begin scaling the roof, but Lloyd and his men open fire. Fitzroy is hit, and in his final moments, he urges Six to get Claire out. He hands Six an explosive, confessing his love for Claire before Six pulls her to the edge, and together, they jump into the water below. Inside, Lone Wolf retrieves the hard drive just as Miranda enters the wrecked room. He ambushes her, leading to an intense fight. However, when Lone Wolf gets the upper hand and has the chance to kill her, he chooses not to. Instead, he hands her the drive, stating that the people she's fighting for aren't honorable, then walks away. Back on the estate grounds, Lloyd approaches a wounded Fitzroy. But before Lloyd can finish him off, Fitzroy detonates the explosive. Lloyd dives behind one of his men, barely escaping the blast. He quickly recovers and dashes across the roof, leaping off the building in pursuit of Six. Down by the water, Claire hides in a boat, while Six faces off against some mercenaries arriving in a vehicle. Just then, Lloyd charges at 6, and a fight breaks out. Claire finds a flare gun and shoots Lloyd, buying 6 enough time to land a shot that hits Lloyd's hand. As 6 dodges a final attempt by a dying guard to take him out, Lloyd grabs Claire, steals her flare gun, and drags her into a sprawling garden maze. 6 gives chase. When Lloyd finally stops, he threatens to scar Claire's face if 6 doesn't surrender his weapon. 6 unloads his gun and throws it to Lloyd, who mocks him for not tossing it loaded. Lloyd releases Claire, and she rushes to embrace 6. He gently tells her to leave, but she tearfully begs him to come with her. Trying to comfort her, he says,
This is just another Thursday.
Reassured, she urges him to defeat Lloyd before departing. The two face off and start fighting. Lloyd's injured hand aches with every punch, but they press on. During a brutal exchange, 6 slams Lloyd's head into a pot, leaving him dazed. Undeterred, Lloyd grabs a knife and the fight intensifies. 6 suffers slashes and stabs, but manages to trap Lloyd in a hold. Just as it seems Lloyd can't break free, a gunshot echoes. Lloyd is hit in the heart. Suzanne steps out of the shadows with a gun, and Lloyd succumbs to his wound. Suzanne turns her weapon on 6, shooting him in the leg. She coldly tells him she needs him alive as a witness to take down Lloyd's network, but that he'll return to jail. If 6 wants Claire safe, he'll cooperate. Later, Claire watches as 6 is wheeled away on a stretcher. He signals to her, bringing her relief. Meanwhile, Suzanne is seen holding the encrypted drive, but Carmichael soon destroys it. 2 weeks later, 6 awakens in a remote facility, handcuffed. Suzanne, Carmichael, and Miranda are absolved by their superiors. As everyone departs, Miranda warns Carmichael that if anything happens to Claire, she will seek revenge. When Carmichael asks where Claire is, Suzanne informs him she's under heavy guard in Virginia. 6, meanwhile, is held in the most secure part of the facility. Later, military police report that 6 has been unresponsive for days, but when they reach his cell, they're stunned to find it empty. Suzanne curses as they realize he's escaped. In Virginia, Claire notices her window is open. She finds a note and a music disc instructing her to play it loudly. Following the note's instructions, she hears gunshots and shouts outside. Moments later, 6 enters the room. Overjoyed, Claire rushes into his arms. In the final scene, the two leave the mansion together in a car, heading into the unknown.